Welcome to the Elyria Black Legacy Project. I am Mr. Candid. Today's interview is with the president and founder of the organization, Mr. Ethan West. How are you doing today?
What's up, brother Dobdale? How you feeling?
I'm doing good.
All right.
So today we're gonna jump right into the interview. First question I have is, how did you come up with the name and the title of the organization?
Well, the name and the title. I mean, obviously I'm from Elyria, so it's very streamlined. It's very kind of simple. It's Elyria Black. It's about Elyria Black folks. So, Elyria Black Legacy. Nothing scientific behind it. It's just what I came up with and what I thought would be a good fit for just a project that we're working on.
Now, I've always mentioned you as our own personal historian. How did you get started and get involved in doing legacy research?
Just being nosy. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of listening, just paying attention to history. Even when I was a kid, I paid attention to the history teacher when nobody else did. I was always curious on how things were before I got here. Then I kind of spilled over into my own family lineage. Growing up, I knew I had a privilege to have my great grandmother in my life. So she was born in 1899 and died in 2000. So she was part of three different centuries. So just by default, she died when I was 21. So by default, I had that connection with the past in my life. So that's always been a foundation of mine. Is giving respect and paying homage to people that came before me because I lived growing up knowing somebody in that generation or generations prior. She's like two or three generations prior to me.
Now, you have, what is it, your third great grandfather? That's from Hayward County?
Haywood,
Haywood. Haywood County.
Haywood County, Tennessee.
Okay. Now, you've done a lot of research
Yeah.
when it comes to that part of your lineage. Like, just, what are some of the things that you found pertaining to him?
Well, I got to give credit to my sister first.
Okay.
Harriet, she found a lot of it. So the foundation was laid. I just kind of just added on to what was known and what was found by her. I mean, the stuff that she found, my dad didn't even know. So that was a cool piece to kind of start with, and just basically, my job I feel is just to maintain his legacy and just make sure his story is heard and people that came after him as well. So, but yeah, to add on to that, yeah, I went down there several times, uh, scaling courthouses, visiting cemeteries, churches, properties, and doing a lot of research over the web using the free website familysearch.org. It's free. It's a cousin to Ancestry. It's owned by Ancestry.com, but it's just free. So that's all. Those are always good tools to use, and just googling, just kind of looking up different stuff about Haywood County, the history of Haywood County, and see where my family fit in during those times.
Now, I know one of the things that you have, one thing that I've seen pertaining to your family is that you have a few researchers in your family.
Yeah.
One of your cousins have written a book. Tell us a little bit about her.
Cousin Cheryl, you're probably referring to. Cousin Cheryl's done more than write books. She's a lecturer. She's a newscaster. That's her normal profession. But yeah, she does lectures on, which would be her three great grandfather Sandy. He was a Civil War veteran. So she really uses that talking piece to educate kids and adults across the United States. And other researchers is cousin Ann. She lives down in Memphis. She's part of the Dolph branch. Then we have cousin Mildred in Michigan. So Mildred and Harriet pretty much linked up because they were doing the same thing, researching the family. Here we are, all of us researching the same people, and we kind of just linked up that way.
Now, And the reason why I asked all those questions, because I know it led up to the project that is being worked on, that has started in February, with it being Black History Month. The organization has been able to interview a lot of key people, Black people, foundational Black Americans in Elyria, Ohio. And even moving forward, there'll be some features, maybe a couple times a month and everything, to continue to bring those people to light and to shine light on their lineage. How important is that when it comes to the community to see and to know people that look like them, who have made great impacts and great statements when it comes to this thing we call life?
I mean, it's very important. I mean, every group has somebody they look up to, even if it's a woman, somebody they can connect to and relate to. For years, I mean, it goes back to when I was a kid, from a historical standpoint, like a lot of Black stories were missing, so that can misplace a lot of Black kids as far as an identity. That's why this project, I feel, is extremely important for Black kids and Black citizens to see ourselves in a normal light, a light where we accomplished a lot of things versus the light that they show us in. A lot of it is negativity, and that influences. Energy influences energy. If you get positive energy out there, you're going to get positive results. Negative energy can bring negative results. So I try to use this as kind of slowing life down, scaling back some of the chaos, and it's almost like a restart. Let's just restart. Let's see what happened before us. Obviously, there's a journey to us, and to tell the complete story. So obviously, Black folks will gravitate towards it because it's somebody that's looking like them. But it's implementing Black folks into the bigger picture as well, because we've helped create and build this country as well, and it's our stories have not been told. So that's why I think it's extremely important for kind of going back and just learning history and really understanding the real facts of what happened or what didn't happen, and what helped shape where we are today, to make sense of things.
And how important is that to the legacy that we leave after us, by understanding and acknowledging the legacy that was created before us?
It gives the blueprint. Stuff that we go through today is nothing brand new. It just kind of repeats itself. So people feel it's brand new because it's happening now, and it's maybe new to your lifetime. But there's always it's a cheat sheet. I always say it's a cheat sheet that this has been done before. This has happened before. How do they get through it? To move forward, how do you prevent it? Because if you don't know your history, you're bound to repeat it, and when you repeat it, sometimes you're lost. But if we kind of just methodically go through the steps and what happened and the journeys, you can kind of prepare the future generations to what might occur, and they'll be ready to combat it.
Now, what are you looking to pass down to the lineage after?
Knowledge and identity. You do whatever you want with that. But those two things is knowledge and identity. You can do anything you want, because can't nobody tell you what you can and cannot do, or what you're not, or what you are. You can identify it yourself. Okay, I see. I come from this. I know what's in me, so I know I can do this. And Black folks, we've accomplished so much throughout history, but a lot of it's hidden, and that has to change. We can't be afraid to talk about it. So we have to start getting used to implementing the Black stories in this country, and closer to home in our city. We didn't immigrate over here. We've been part of this culture for centuries, and for some reason, it's very taboo when people look at Black stories, and really, that's the main focal point. A lot of people get a little nervous or just uncomfortable about some of these situations, and we just get the uncomfortable stuff out of it, and let's talk. We can't keep on. I think it's a crime. We keep on passing the buck down generations and generations and act like things are fine when they're clearly not. We have issues out here, and I think a lot of it is because we ignored so much so many opportunities to really talk about the real issues, and that just hasn't happened. So hopefully this kind of uh, lightens that uncomfortable seat, and we can really come to heads and really start talking about some real solutions and real issues that hasn't happened didn't happen, and make sense out of this world that we live in.
Mm-hmm. And see, that's such an important piece, because when you can identify with someone who looks like you, and it allows you to see what they've accomplished, so it gives you the courage and say, you know what, I can do this. I can be great just like them in my own right.
Everybody has their superheroes, you know what I mean? And a lot of the time, then you identify with a superhero because they kind of there's some kind of similarities to you as that person. So that's why I mean you see a lot of bad promoted stuff in our communities, and that's what you see. You kind of mimic what you see, and that's not how it should be. It is you mimic and you also mimic what is shown. So if that's the only thing that's shown, that's what you see. This could be a product. This could be a result. And they can just and there's another layers. There's more layers to that because they can just start implementing laws, stereotypes, and it creates everybody's opinion of a certain group of people, black and white, because we fall into the trap too. We see somebody. I mean, look at my hair. You wouldn't think I like history. You know what I mean? Because I don't fit the prototype. So we're changing a lot of old way of thinking. So that's the goal of this project too. We got a lot of white folks involved. We got black folks involved because we are part of the story, and it's a learning experience for everyone that's involved. So,
and that's a powerful thing, and it's funny, going back to the identity portion, because I was in the store last night, and I seen a father with his daughter, and they were over in the baby doll section, and he asked her, well, which one do you want? And she immediately went to the black baby dolls. And then, he was looking at the other black baby dolls and asked her, do you want this one? Do you want that one? And she said no. And he was like, well, which one do you want? And she picked a black baby doll, and he asked her, why do you want that one? She told him, she grabbed her hair, she said, Daddy, she looked like me. And like you said, going back to, when lineage identifies with lineage and the greatness within that lineage, there's so much that can open up and happen from that point.
Right.
Okay, so with that being said, how important is it for not just the black community and foundational black American community to get involved in a project such as this outside of just the knowledge and informational piece?
I mean, we always hear the moral responsibility for humanity. I think that can kind of contribute to the important piece for the white community. I've always said, black folks, we're just going to have to do a lot of stuff ourselves. Nobody's coming to save us. We're not asking white folks to save us. But if white folks, you want to be on the right side of history, this is an opportunity to join in. Understanding this is about black stories and black folks. So you got to kind of leave your uncomfortable stuff at the door. And if so, I get it. You don't have to help. But, we are black everything. This is the project. This is the connection piece. We can't implement other groups because we have a specific story here. We do. So that's why, and I always say, it's not black folks. We got to get out of the habit of pleading to white people. This is what's happening to us. They know. So the responsibility is on other white folks to go back to their communities and talk about what's really going on over there and what they've learned. Because we can speak until we're blue in the face, but just from a historical standpoint, it just falls on deaf ears. So that's why we just got to just do what we have to do just to kind of build our self-confidence up, our economic base up, everything under the sun. And if white folks want to come in and be an ally and help, you're more than you. Yeah, absolutely. We don't shun nobody from helping getting our business taken care of. So I think that's an important piece for any other groups that want to, really support the black agenda and the black push on just seeing black folks succeed. Because for years we've always been the poster child of helping other non-white groups, the minority groups, the minority coalition, if you will. We're always supportive. It doesn't matter, black, white, women, immigrants, whomever, because we have a moral sympathy because we know how it is to be mistreated, just because of you're different from the dominant society. So unfortunately, it's never been reciprocated back when it's time for just black only stuff to be being handled. So that's why I think it's important for them not just to learn, but kind of go back to their homes and discuss on what they learned and really educate the real and make and being able to articulate it in a way that that their folks can understand it, because we can say it in crazy style, we can say it in a high educational style, they'll still hear it as like this. And it's just been maybe it's because we're the messengers, and we've been trivialized as far as we're just complaining all the time. It's not that way, but you're not in our shoes. So I think this project gives them an opportunity to kind of see from our scope, because they're never in their shoes. Because after they leave this project, or after they leave this, they go home. Guess what? They're going back to being white. You know what I mean? So they will never fully understand. But you're here to learn. So just kind of listen to what we got to say.
And then also a key component, I believe, is the protection of it, with the understanding that this is a black informative project. Because a lot of times, one of the things that I've noticed even throughout our country, and even across seas, is that anything black usually gets hijacked.
Yeah,
and sabotaged.
It gets infiltrated and it gets mixed in with other agendas as well. This is just strictly black folks, the foundation of black Americans, black folks that's been here during slavery, even before slavery. We're just a unique group. We are, and it's just time for us to really understand that we are the culture. The world follows whatever we do culturally. We're always the hip ones, so we got to just really start taking advantage of our assets and really learn about it and really start preaching it and living it.
Now, if anybody wants to get involved with any of the projects, if they want to support the organization, how do they go about doing that?
We got 3 emails. So I'm gonna tell you the one that I really remember. I think it's Elyria Black History .com. I mean, Elyria Black History at Gmail. That's the main email. So you can hit us up there. We have a Facebook page, Elyria Black Connection, Elyria Black Legacy Connection on Facebook. I think IG page is coming.
Yes.
Or you can hit me up. My Facebook is Ethan West. Then my IG is West Wheels FLOH. And that's pretty much it. I hide from everything else. I don't want too much access because we're busy working. These stories are always ongoing. There's so much still to uncover. There's so many features to do. We got a lot of catching up to do, and which we're up for the challenge. It's all a learning process. And one thing I really emphasize is the youth to get involved, because we're not going to hold on to this as for our generation. We want the youth to be involved so it can be an easy transfer, so they're already implemented in the system. It's in their foundation to really understand the importance of knowing your journeys. So we can just kind of sit back maybe 5-10 years and they're running it. This is not mine. This is ours. It's our communities. So I'm really big on that. And I'm not going to be doing this forever. So we really got to teach the generation under us the importance and what they want to see in it and what captures them. because we're not in their generation. So they, they learn different. And then ain't nothing, there's nothing wrong with them. They just learn different, just like we learn different from our parents. So understanding generations are extremely important.
There you have it, the founder and president of Elyria Black Legacy Connection, Mr. Ethan West. And once again, for any information, you can reach out via email at ELYRIABlackHistory@gmail.com. Then also on Facebook at Elyria Black Legacy Connection, and IG is soon to come, or you can reach out to Mr. Ethan West directly. This is an episode of the Elyria Black Legacy Connection, and I'm your interviewer, Mr. Candid. See you next time.
Cut.